Welcome to French Avenue. Microphone.
Welcome to French Avenue microphone.
Qui n'a jamais ressenti cette petite boule au ventre au moment de parler d'argent?
Ah oui, ce moment un peu gênant.
Exactement, quand il faut demander une réduction sur un marché, ou alors au resto, hésiter à dire on partage l'addition.
Ou le grand classique, la négociation de salaire.
Voilà, on a l'impression d'être impoli, de demander la lune. Eh bien, ça tombe très bien parce que c'est exactement le sujet qu'on explore aujourd'hui. On a mis la main sur un guide assez fascinant sur l'art, et c'est vraiment un art de parler d'argent en français.
Tout à fait.
Notre objectif, ça va être de le décortiquer ensemble pour en tirer des outils concrets et peut-être briser ce tabou.
Oui, et c'est un enjeu essentiel. Ce qui est frappant dans ce guide, c'est qu'il recadre le sujet tout de suite. Il ne s'agit pas juste d'être poli.
Non, c'est plus que ça.
C'est une question d'autonomie, voire de survie matérielle en France. Si on ne maîtrise pas ce langage, on accepte de payer le prix fort, on risque de mal interpréter un contrat. Bref, on navigue un peu à l'aveugle.
Ça change complètement la perspective. Donc ce n'est pas une question d'être radin.
Non, pas du tout.
C'est une compétence. Le guide insiste beaucoup là-dessus. Dans le commerce, en France, parler d'argent n'est pas impoli. C'est même la norme, c'est attendu. L'impolitesse, ce serait de le faire sans les bons codes.
Exactement.
Donc notre but, c'est de décoder tout ça, de se donner le fameux pouvoir de comprendre pour pouvoir ensuite négocier.
C'est ça.
D'accord. Alors, par où on commence quand on se sent un peu démuni face à ça? J'imagine que la première étape, c'est les mots. Avoir les bons mots. Le guide parle d'une véritable armure de vocabulaire.
Oui.
Commençons simple. Comment on demande le prix? On connaît les classiques, combien ça coûte, ou c'est combien?
Exactement. Ça, c'est la base. Mais là où ça devient intéressant, c'est dans les nuances. Par exemple, si quelque chose semble cher,
Oui.
on peut dire c'est cher ou c'est coûteux. C'est direct. Mais le guide propose une alternative bien plus subtile. C'est un budget.
Ah, c'est un budget.
Cette petite phrase, elle change tout. Elle ne juge pas la valeur de l'objet, elle dit simplement que ça représente une somme importante par rapport à votre plan à vous. C'est très respectueux, ça ouvre une discussion sans critiquer.
Ah oui, c'est très fin. On ne dit pas « votre produit est trop cher », on dit « pour moi, c'est un investissement ». Ça déplace le sujet. Et du coup, ça me fait penser, dans cette idée de budget, il y a aussi tout le vocabulaire des bonnes affaires. Le guide fait une distinction très claire entre solde et promotion. J'avoue que je ne suis pas toujours sûre de la différence.
Et c'est un point culturel qui est clé. Les soldes, en France, c'est très précis. Ce sont 2 périodes, hiver et été, qui sont réglementées par la loi pour écouler les stocks.
D'accord. Tout le reste de l'année, ce sont des promotions, des réductions ou une offre spéciale. Utiliser le bon mot, ça montre qu'on comprend les codes. Ça paraît être un détail, mais ça donne une crédibilité immédiate.
D'accord, donc on a les mots pour évaluer le prix, mais pour parler de notre propre situation, comment on fait sans avoir l'air de se plaindre? Le guide parle de budget, revenus, dépenses. Ça peut sonner un peu comptable, non? Et pourtant, c'est là qu'on touche à un aspect fondamental de la culture française. Le concept de budget, c'est presque sacré. Ce n'est pas juste un calcul, c'est une preuve de contrôle, de prévoyance.
Je vois.
Et c'est ce qui rend une phrase comme « je n'ai pas le budget pour ça en ce moment » si puissante. Ce n'est pas un aveu de pauvreté, c'est une affirmation de gestion responsable. Et ça, c'est très respecté. On ne dit pas « je suis pauvre », on dit « je gère mes finances ».
C'est une façon de dire non, mais tout en se valorisant. Et ça rejoint l'idée d'économiser. Le guide note que l'épargne est une valeur forte. Donc dire qu'on fait attention pour économiser pour un projet, c'est un argument tout à fait valable.
Tout à fait. Et cette précision du langage, on la retrouve partout. Pensez au mot pour le reçu.
Ah oui?
Caisse. Pour un artisan, on reçoit une facture. Chaque contexte a son mot. C'est pareil pour le paiement. On peut payer par carte bancaire ou en espèces, le cash.
Oui.
Mais dans un contexte un peu plus formel, un commerçant va vous inviter à régler la facture. Régler, c'est plus définitif, ça clôture la transaction.
Ok, donc on a notre armure de vocabulaire, mais j'imagine que si on rentre dans un magasin et qu'on lance juste le mot « remise », ça ne va pas très bien marcher.
Non, probablement pas.
Comment est-ce qu'on assemble ces mots pour en faire des phrases qui fonctionnent, qui n'offensent personne?
C'est la question centrale. Avoir les mots, c'est le niveau 1. Savoir les utiliser, c'est là que le pouvoir de négociation apparaît. Et le guide insiste sur un outil grammatical qui est le pilier de la négociation à la française.
Lequel?
Le conditionnel de politesse.
Ah, le fameux conditionnel. J'ai toujours cru que c'était juste une formule de politesse en fait, mais le guide semble dire que c'est un outil stratégique. C'est vraiment si puissant.
C'est fondamental. Comparez ces deux phrases. D'un côté, je veux une réduction.
C'est direct.
Direct, presque agressif, ça crée une confrontation. Maintenant, écoutez, je voudrais savoir s'il serait possible d'avoir une réduction.
Mhm.
Ou encore, pourriez-vous faire un geste commercial? Le conditionnel, il transforme une exigence en une suggestion. Il ouvre la conversation, il ne la ferme pas.
C'est une forme de collaboration en fait. On invite l'autre à trouver une solution avec nous.
C'est exactement ça. Il donne au vendeur une porte de sortie honorable. Ce n'était qu'une question, pas un ordre.
Et à part le conditionnel, il y a d'autres structures de phrases qui sont importantes?
Oui, une autre, très puissante. L'hypothèse avec si. Par exemple, si je prends les deux modèles, est-ce qu'on peut envisager un prix pour le lot?
D'accord.
Ou bien, si je paie comptant, en espèces, y a-t-il une petite remise? Cette structure, si plus présent, elle est géniale. Elle propose un scénario gagnant-gagnant. Vous offrez quelque chose?
En échange d'un avantage.
Voilà. Ce n'est plus une simple demande. C'est une proposition commerciale.
Et pour parler de sa propre capacité, au-delà de c'est un budget, comment dire je ne peux pas acheter ça avec un peu d'élégance?
Le guide met en avant deux expressions qui se répondent. Je peux me le permettre et je ne peux pas me le permettre.
C'est plus subtil que j'ai l'argent.
Beaucoup plus. Se le permettre, ça implique une notion de choix, de décision après évaluation. Et si on ne peut pas, le guide suggère des phrases comme « je n'ai pas les moyens pour l'instant » ou, ce que j'aime bien, « je suis un peu serré dans mon budget ce mois-ci ».
Ça décrit une situation temporaire.
Oui, c'est contextuel. C'est beaucoup plus digne que de se définir comme « pauvre ».
Tout ça est très utile, mais ça reste un peu théorique. Pour que ce soit vraiment concret, le guide raconte une histoire, celle d'un ingénieur, Karim, qui est arrivé en France.
Ah oui.
Et son parcours, c'est vraiment l'illustration parfaite de ce passage de la peur à la compétence.
Oui, l'histoire de Karim, c'est le cœur du guide, parce qu'elle incarne tout ce processus. Au début, Karim est paralysé.
Complètement.
Il vient d'une culture où parler d'argent, c'est tabou, c'est presque vulgaire, donc il ne dit rien. Il va au marché, il achète des choses, il paie le prix affiché, systématiquement.
Il ne pose aucune question.
Jamais. Il signe même des papiers à la banque sans oser demander ce que ça veut dire, de peur d'avoir l'air stupide ou pauvre.
Il est dans ce que le guide appelle le silence coûteux. Et il y a un événement qui va tout faire basculer. C'est ça.
Exactement. Le déclic, c'est l'achat d'une voiture d'occasion. Le vendeur lui en demande 10 000 €. Karim, fidèle à lui-même, accepte sans discuter.
Et il est content de sa voiture, j'imagine.
Il est ravi, sauf que quelques jours plus tard, il en parle à un collègue français qui s'y connaît bien. Et là, son collègue est atterré. Il lui dit que cette voiture, dans cet état, elle valait 8 000 €, grand maximum.
Ouch! Ça va faire mal.
C'est un choc terrible pour lui. Le guide utilise une formule qui est très marquante. Karim réalise qu'il vient de perdre 2 000 € de silence.
2 000 € de silence. C'est fort, hein?
C'est très fort. Cet argent n'a pas disparu à cause d'une arnaque, mais à cause de son propre mutisme. Et c'est cet électrochoc qui le pousse à agir. Il décide qu'il doit apprendre les règles du jeu.
Et comment il s'y prend? Il se met à apprendre toutes ces phrases qu'on vient de décrire?
Précisément, il se met à écouter, à noter. Il apprend la différence entre une remise, un geste commercial. Il s'entraîne à utiliser le conditionnel. Et le guide raconte sa première tentative, sa première petite victoire.
Ah,
Il doit acheter un canapé. Il en voit un qui lui plaît, affiché à 1 000 €.
j'imagine son trac à ce moment-là, le cœur qui bat.
Absolument. Il est terrifié. Mais il se lance. Il prend son courage à deux mains et il dit au vendeur la phrase qu'il a répétée des dizaines de fois dans sa tête.
Laquelle?
Ce canapé me plaît beaucoup. Par contre, c'est un peu au-dessus de mon budget. Est-ce que vous pourriez faire un effort sur le prix? C'est simple, c'est poli, ça combine la reconnaissance de la qualité et l'expression de sa contrainte.
Et ça marche?
Ça marche? Le vendeur, loin d'être offensé, sourit et lui accorde 100 € de réduction.
Génial.
Et c'est là qu'est toute la morale de l'histoire. Pour Karim, ces 100 €, ce n'est pas qu'une simple économie. C'est une victoire symbolique qui est immense. C'est la preuve qu'il peut participer au système, qu'il n'est plus une victime passive, mais un acteur.
Il a transformé le silence en dialogue. C'est ça. Il a gagné de l'argent, bien sûr, mais il a surtout gagné en confiance et en crédibilité.
C'est exactement ça. Le guide conclut cette histoire en disant que négocier en France, ce n'est pas être radin, c'est jouer le jeu du commerce. En osant parler, En utilisant les bons codes, Karim a gagné le respect du vendeur. Et surtout son propre respect.
Il est passé du consommateur qui subit à celui de client qui interagit.
C'est une transformation profonde.
En somme, si on récapitule les grands enseignements de cette analyse, le premier point, c'est que parler d'argent, ce n'est pas un combat, c'est une compétence de communication.
C'est une parfaite synthèse. Le deuxième point, c'est que le vocabulaire et la grammaire ne sont pas que des outils linguistiques.
Non, ce sont des outils stratégiques.
Exactement. Le vocabulaire, c'est l'armure. La grammaire, notamment le conditionnel et l'hypothèse, ce sont les techniques de dialogue. Et le tout permet de transformer une confrontation potentielle en une collaboration.
L'histoire de Karim le montre bien.
Oui, elle montre que l'investissement pour apprendre ces codes est remboursé au centuple. Pas seulement en argent, mais surtout en confiance et en intégration.
La conclusion du guide est d'ailleurs très directe, c'est presque une devise. Si vous ne parlez pas, vous perdez. Si vous parlez, vous gagnez.
C'est aussi simple que ça.
C'est un appel à l'action.
C'est très clair. Et ça m'amène à une dernière pensée, pour prolonger un peu la réflexion. Le guide nous a montré comment parler d'argent pour des transactions, pour se défendre, pour survivre matériellement. Mais si on allait un peu plus loin,
C'est-à-dire,
si on voyait chaque interaction autour d'un prix, même la plus petite, non pas comme une nécessité stressante, mais comme une opportunité.
une opportunité?
De s'entraîner. Exactement. Une chance de pratiquer, de tester une phrase, de renforcer ce muscle de la confiance en soi dans un contexte où l'enjeu est faible. Et dans cette optique, on pourrait se poser la question, quelle est la plus petite, la plus simple, la moins effrayante des questions que l'on pourrait oser poser la prochaine fois? Peut-être pas pour un canapé à 1 000 € tout de suite, mais pour un livre sur un marché aux puces ou pour des frais de livraison. Quelle serait cette toute première étape pour, justement, transformer le silence en pouvoir?
Okay, I want you to try something with me for a second. It's a little visualization exercise. So if you're not, driving or doing something dangerous, maybe just close your eyes for a moment.
Okay, I'm with you.
And I want you to imagine your life, say, 5 years from now. You're in France. You've done it.
The dream.
The dream.
Yeah.
You've got the great job, maybe that little apartment you always pictured, the one with the classic zinc rooftop view. You're buying a fresh baguette every single morning. It's all perfect.
Well,
right?
it sounds pretty idyllic. I think that's the picture we all have in our heads when we start this journey, isn't it?
It is. It's the highlight reel. But now I want you to zoom in. Zoom in past the postcard moments. It's a Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. There's no wine. You're not by the Seine.
Reality bites.
Yeah. You're sitting in this beige office, horrible fluorescent lights, and you're across the desk from a banker. And he's just looking at you over his glasses, waiting for you to explain why you need a mortgage.
Oh, that's a very specific kind of terror.
Or you're at a used car dealership, and the guy quotes you a price, and, you can feel it in your bones that it's too high. But the words just, they won't come out. You don't know how to challenge him without, sounding rude or aggressive.
And that's the exact moment, isn't it? That's when the dream turns into a cold sweat. The classic admin nightmare.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
And that right there is what we're tackling today.
The awkwardness of money.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into the one thing that can derail that whole expat fantasy faster than anything else. And it's not the grammar. It's not the culture shock. It's money.
It is a huge topic. And looking at the research we've pulled for this, it's so clear that this isn't really about your ability to do math.
No.
It's about culture. In fact, one of the most interesting points that comes up again and again in these sources is this idea that while we think of money as just numbers on a screen, the French approach it as a form of literacy.
Literacy, like reading and writing.
Exactly like that. The idea is, if you can't read the subtext, if you don't understand the unspoken rules of a financial conjuration in France, you are, well, you're functionally illiterate in that part of society.
Wow.
And that makes you vulnerable.
Vulnerable is a strong word.
It is, but I think it's the right one. It's accurate. We're going to be looking at a case study today, this guy named Karim.
Right.
And he's a perfect example. He's an engineer, really smart guy, moves to France, earns a great salary. But over his first 3 years there, he lost thousands of euros.
And not because he made bad investments or something?
No, not at all. It was because he was absolutely terrified of looking impolite.
I get that. I relate to that so much.
We all do.
I think a lot of us, especially from Anglo cultures, are sort of raised with this idea that talking about money is just, well, it's tacky, It's a bit vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't ask people what they earn. You don't really haggle over prices unless you're at a flea market. It feels confrontational.
Right. And that's where the big misunderstanding comes in. In the UK, in the US, money is often a very private, almost taboo subject in a social setting.
For sure.
And we hear this cliche that the French are the same, that they hate talking about money. But the sources we've got today argue that's not quite right. It's a misinterpretation.
So what is it then?
The French don't like bragging about money. That's what's considered vulgar. But when it comes to the practical side of it, they treat money as a tool, a daily necessity that you absolutely must master to survive.
Not a taboo, but a tool.
A tool. And if you're the one treating it like a taboo, you're the one who loses out. So I think the goal for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to stop you from being early Krim.
The guy who just pays the sticker price out of fear?
Exactly. And help you become, as one source puts it, a partner in the economic system.
I love that phrase. A partner in the economic system.
Yeah.
It's so much more empowering than just being a wallet with legs.
It is. So we're going to give you the vocabulary, the grammar, and maybe most importantly, the mindset, the attitude to, handle your business.
Okay, so where do we start? The sources talk about reframing politeness.
Yeah, that's the foundation.
Right.
It's all about context. The core idea is that the rules change depending on where you are.
So at a dinner party with friends.
Yes. Asking your friend, so how much is your rent, exactly, is still rude. Don't do that. That's a friendly context. It's delicate.
But in a commercial context.
Yeah.
A shop, a bank.
In a commercial context, silence is not polite. Silence is expensive.
Because if you don't ask the question, you're just accepting the default.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying whatever's on the sticker.
Precisely. And you're missing out on opportunities or even rights that you didn't know you had. So let's start with the first layer of this armor, the vocabulary of value.
Okay.
It sounds so simple, right? How to ask the price. But there are little trapdoors everywhere.
Right. So I walk into a little shop. I see a lamp I like. There's no price tag. My first instinct, what I learned in French 101, is to say, combien coûte ce produit?
Which is, it's fine. It's not wrong. But it's very textbook. It's a bit dry, a bit robotic. It immediately marks you as a beginner. It's like you're saying, human. How many currency units for this object?
Just take me to your leader. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly. So if you want to sound like you belong there, you need a few variations up your sleeve. The sources suggest starting with something like, combien ça vaut?
Combien ça vaut? How much is it worth?
Yes. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's there. It's not just about the cost. It's about its intrinsic value. You sound like you're assessing the object, not just checking if you have enough cash in your wallet.
You're showing discernment. It changes the dynamic. Then there's another one for when the transaction is nearly finished. Ah, je vous dois.
How much do I owe you? I hear that one a lot in films. It sounds quite, official. Final.
It is. You'd use that when you're at the cash register. They've already rung everything up. It implies a complete readiness to pay. It signals confidence. It's like saying, okay, let's settle this. Very professional.
Okay, so we've asked the price. Now for the hard part. The shopkeeper gives you the answer. He says, that lamp, it's 800 euros.
Right.
And internally, my brain is just screaming. That is way, way more than I expected. But my fear is being rude. I don't want to just blurt out, that's a ripoff.
And you're right not to. And saying something blunt, like c'est trop cher, it's too expensive, can really be taken the wrong way.
How so?
It can sound like an insult to the quality of their goods. You're not just saying, I can't afford it. You're implying this object is not worth that price.
Which puts the shopkeeper on the defensive immediately.
Immediately. The shutters come down. So what do you say instead?
I don't know. I just stammer and back away slowly.
You could. Or you could use this brilliant phrase from the source material. It's c'est un budget.
C'est un budget.
Oh.
It is a budget.
Yes. Or, to soften it even more, c'est un certain budget. It's a certain budget. This is a masterclass in French diplomacy.
How does that work? What is it actually communicating?
You are doing two things at once. First, you are validating the item. You're acknowledging its quality. You're saying, I see why this costs what it does. I respect the craftsmanship. The quality is there.
Okay, so you're not insulting the product.
Exactly. And then second, you're stating your own position. You're saying, however, that price represents a significant financial outlay for me at this moment.
Wow. All of that is packed into just 3 words.
All of it. It frames you as a person of taste and discernment. You're not a cheapskate. You're a savvy consumer who understands value, even if you can't make the purchase today. It protects your dignity, and it protects the seller's dignity. It's perfect.
That's incredible. It's so much better than saying, oh, I can't afford that. It's like a status signal.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a budget. I'm part of the club that understands these things.
Precisely. Now, still on the topic of price, we absolutely have to talk about the sales trap. Because this is one where I see expats get tripped up and, frankly, embarrassed all the time.
This one really surprised me when I was reading the notes. I always just assumed a sale is a sale. You know, you put a red sticker on something, you reduce the price, the sale. But in France, the government has an opinion.
The government has an opinion on everything in France, but yes, very much so on this. You cannot just use the word soldes whenever you feel like it.
Wait, you're kidding. So if I own a shoe shop and it's, say, October, and I want to clear out last season's sneakers, I can't put a big sign in my window that says soldes.
Absolutely not. You would literally be breaking the law.
That's wild.
So the official sales are strictly regulated periods. There's a winter one, usually starting in January, and a summer one, usually in July.
Yeah.
And the exact dates are set by the government every year.
Yeah. Why? That seems incredibly restrictive. What's the logic?
The logic, and it's a very French kind of logic, is about fair competition. La concurrence loyale. The idea is to protect the small, independent shopkeepers from the huge chains. If a massive department store could run sales all year round, they could afford to sell at a loss and drive all the little guys out of business.
I see.
So the soldes create a level playing field. Everyone gets to clear their old inventory at the same time, under the same rules. They can even sell at a loss during that period, which is normally illegal.
So if it's October and I see a rack of discounted clothes, what does that call it? It's not the soldes.
That is a promotion. Or you might see reduction or ventes privées, private sales. Any of those work, but not soldes.
So if I walk into a shop in March, point at a discounted jacket and ask, are these the soldes?
You immediately look like a tourist.
Right.
You look like someone who doesn't understand the basic calendar of French commerce, let alone the law. But if you ask, est-ce que c'est en promotion? You sound like you know what you're talking about. You show cultural literacy.
It's all these tiny little details, isn't it? They add up to build that armor we were talking about.
That's a great way of putting it. It really is armor. When you use the right word at the right time, people see you differently. They treat you differently.
So let's talk about that armor in a more personal context, personal finance. The sources bring up a few key terms, the basics like revenues for income, dépenses for expenses. But one verb really stood out to me, économiser.
Ah, yes. Économiser, to save.
But the nuance is different, right?
It is. In English, saving can be a very passive thing. It can just mean not spending money. I'm saving money by not buying coffee this week.
Sure.
In French, économiser usually implies a more active, goal-oriented process. It implies a project.
A project, what do you mean?
You save for something specific. J'économise pour un voyage. I'm saving for a trip. J'économise pour acheter une maison. I'm saving to buy a house. There's a deep cultural respect in France for the concept of l'épargne savings as a long-term plan.
So if you tell a French friend you can't go out for an expensive dinner because you're économisant, that's not seen as a lame excuse.
Not at all. It's seen as a highly respectable reason. It shows maturity, foresight, discipline.
So it's not I'm broke, it's I'm focused on a goal.
Exactly. A world of difference.
Okay, let's pivot to the next phase, segment 2 in our notes. The transaction toolkit.
Right.
This is where we get into the physical, sometimes awkward mechanics of paying for things.
Yeah.
And I have to confess something here, because reading this part of the research gave me actual, mild PTSD.
Oh.
To tell. So years ago, when I first started spending time in France, I'd finish a meal at a nice bistro. I'd be feeling very proud of myself for ordering in French and all that. Then I'd catch the waiter's eye and confidently, loudly ask for le ticket, s'il vous plaît.
Oh, no, the classic mistake.
And every single time, I'd get this look, a mix of confusion, maybe a little annoyance, and sometimes they'd just bring me the tiny credit card receipt slip, but not the actual bill with the itemized list. And I never understood why. A ticket is a ticket, right?
This is a perfect example of a false friend, a false cognate. It sounds the same, it looks the same, but the meaning is different in this context. In a restaurant, the bill is always l'addition.
Addition, like addition, as in mathematics.
Exactly. It's the sum of what you consumed. If you ask for a ticket, you're not really asking for the bill. You're asking for a ticket de caisse, which is a shop receipt or, I don't know, a lottery ticket, a bus ticket. It just sounds wrong in a restaurant.
It just screams, I am translating this literally from English in my head.
It really does.
Yeah.
So rule number 1 for dining out, it's l'addition.
So when do I use the word ticket?
At the supermarket, in a retail store. That long, flimsy piece of paper they hand you with your groceries, that's your ticket de caisse.
Okay, and what about the third one? Facture. That's another word for bill, isn't it?
It is, but it's the most formal of the 3. A facture is an invoice. It's official. You get a facture from your plumber, or for a big purchase like a new laptop that you need for your company expenses or for the warranty. It's the formal, legal proof of purchase.
Right, so l'addition to eat, ticket de caisse to shop, facture for official business. Got it. Now, what about the act of paying itself? I usually just say something simple like, je peux payer. Can I pay?
And that's fine. It works. But again, our goal here is to upgrade you from fine to fluent and impressive.
Right.
And for that, we need to look at a key verb distinction. Pay versus régler.
Régler. That sounds a bit like to regulate.
That's a good way to think about it. It means to settle, to resolve, to put in order. You are regulating a debt. Je règle la facture. I'm settling the invoice. Je règle mon loyer. I'm paying my rent.
It sounds so much more buttoned up, more formal.
It is. It's the language of administration and serious commerce. If you're checking out of a nice hotel or paying at a doctor's office or finalizing a business deal, asking comment je peux régler, how can I settle this? It just sounds more established, more professional.
It really does. Payer sounds like you're just handing over cash. Régler sounds like you're balancing the books. You're a serious person.
Exactly. It projects that adult in the room persona. And speaking of being adult, we have to talk about the bank.
Oh, the bank. The final boss of French admin.
It really can be. And this is where the sources describe vocabulary as financial armor. And I honestly think this is the most critical part of this whole deep dive, because if you walk into a French bank and you don't know the words, you can get hurt, financially hurt.
I remember opening my first bank account. It wasn't a conversation, it was an interrogation. They wanted my pay slips, my utility bills, my passport, my blood type, my grandmother's maiden name. And then they just started firing all this jargon at me, and I just sat there nodding because I didn't want to look stupid.
And that is where they get you. That's the vulnerability. Let's talk about one word in particular, découvert.
Découvert. That sounds quite nice, actually. Discovery or uncovered. Open and breezy.
It sounds lovely, doesn't it? But in a banking context, découvert means overdraft.
Not so lovely.
Not so lovely at all. And here's the trap. The banker, with a very friendly smile, will say something like, and with this account package, we offer you an authorized découvert of 500 euros.
And if you're new and a bit naive, you think, wow, that's so nice of them. They're giving me 500 euros of free money just in case.
You think it's a safety net. A courtesy. It is not. It is a line of credit. It is a loan facility with incredibly high interest rates.
Which are called?
They're called agios. And if you dip into that découvert, even by €1 for one day, you are paying agios on it. And if you stay in the red for too long, you'll get a very unpleasant letter from the bank.
So when they offer you a découvert, they're not being generous. They're selling you a very expensive form of debt.
Correct. So just knowing that one word, that découvert equals danger, high interest, completely changes the conversation. You're no longer a passive recipient. You can ask, d'accord, et quels sont les agios sur le découvert?
Okay, and what are the interest fees on the overdraft?
Yes. And the moment you ask that, the banker's posture changes. They sit up a little straighter. They realize, this person knows the game.
You gain instant respect.
Instantly. Another term the sources flag is frais de tenue de compte.
Account management fees. This one drives me nuts. Where I'm from, most basic checking accounts are free. But in France, you often have to pay a monthly fee just for the privilege of having the account exist.
For very often, yes. It might only be €2 a month, or 5 or 10, depending on the package, but it adds up over a year. And here's the secret. These fees are sometimes negotiable.
Really? You can actually negotiate with a bank?
You can try, especially if you're a desirable client. If you're bringing them your salary every month, maybe you have some savings. Maybe you're applying for a mortgage.
So you have some leverage.
You have leverage. You can say, I'm interested in this account, but can we discuss the frais de tenue de compte? But again, if you don't know the phrase, you can't ask the question. You just see that money quietly disappearing from your account every month and feel completely helpless.
That's the definition of the vulnerability we mentioned at the very beginning, isn't it?
It is.
Not having the word means you just have to accept the hit. You have no power.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got our armor on. We know the key terms to defend ourselves at the bank. Now let's go on the attack.
Right, segment 3. The grammar of negotiation.
I like your enthusiasm, but attack might be the wrong framing here. The sources are all very, very clear on this point. French negotiation is not about aggression or confrontation.
No.
No, it's much more like seduction.
Seduction. We're seducing the car salesman.
In a way, yes. It's an intellectual seduction. It's a dance. If you go in there with guns blazing, this price is ridiculous, you have to cut it by 20%.
Yeah.
The seller will just shut down.
Why?
It's about face. Pride. They would literally prefer to lose the sale entirely than to be seen to submit to a rude, aggressive customer. You have to make them want to give you a deal.
Okay, so how do we dance? What's the first step? The first step is the conditional of politeness. This is basic grammar, but it's applied strategically. Rule number 1, never, ever use the present tense when you're asking for a deal.
So no saying, je veux un prix, I want a price.
Oh, that's horrifying. No, never say je veux in a negotiation. It's what a toddler says in a supermarket. Even something like je demande, I ask for, is way too direct.
So what's the alternative?
You have to use the conditional je voudrais, I would like, or even better, je pourrais avoir, could I have.
It softens it. It's less of a demand.
It does more than soften it. It creates a hypothetical space. It's like you're saying, let's imagine a world, a possible future, where you are a generous merchant and I am a happy customer. In that world, could I perhaps have? It lowers the stakes for everyone.
That makes sense. Now, the sources give a very specific phrase here that they describe as being almost like a magic spell. Un geste commercial.
Ah, yes.
The commercial gesture.
Est-ce que vous pourriez faire un geste commercial? Could you make a commercial gesture? I love this phrase. It's so elegant.
It is absolutely brilliant. And notice what you're not asking for. Yeah. You're not asking for une réduction, a discount. You're not asking for un rabais, a rebate. Those words sound a bit transactional, a bit cheap. They imply you're asking them to devalue their own product.
But a gesture.
A gesture is a gift. It's a noble act of kindness. You are appealing to their sense of themselves as a good, fair merchant who wants to build a relationship.
You're inviting them to be the good guy.
Exactly. You're saying, we have a good rapport here. I appreciate your product. Now honor our new relationship with a gesture of goodwill. It allows them to give you a discount while feeling like a benevolent king, not like a desperate shopkeeper caving to pressure.
That is pure psychology. It's amazing.
It's the art of the game.
Okay, so we've got the polite framing. But negotiation isn't just about being nice, it's also about logic. And the sources mention a specific grammar trap here related to the si clause, the if clause.
Yes, this is a big one. This is where a lot of English speakers fall down, and it instantly shatters their credibility.
How so?
Well, in English, it's quite common for us to use the future tense in both parts of a conditional sentence. We might say, if I will take 2 of these, will you give me a discount?
Right. If I will buy it today.
In French, if you do that, if you say, si je prendrai, using the future tense after si, it sounds like nails on a chalkboard to a native speaker. It's what's known as a faute grave, a serious error.
But why? It's just a verb tense. Why is it so serious?
Because French grammar often has a very close relationship with formal logic. And logically, the condition has to happen before the result. The structure is a formula. If X in the present, then Y in the present or future.
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect. If you put the future tense in the if part, you're breaking that logical chain. It sounds muddled. Illogical.
So saying si je prendrai makes me sound like I don't really understand how cause and effect works.
It makes you sound flaky, unsure, like your proposition isn't serious. But if you want to be a respected negotiator, you need to sound decisive and logical. Si je prends 2 articles. If I take 2 items, present tense.
Est-ce que vous pouvez faire un prix? Will you a price?
Simple, direct, logical.
It projects confidence. It's the difference between a tourist sort of vaguely hoping for a favor and a serious partner proposing a clear business deal.
It's just incredible how one little verb tense can completely change how you're perceived.
Welcome to France.
Okay, one more tool for the negotiation toolkit. Comparisons. Plus que, more than, moins que, less than. The sources make a point of mentioning pronunciation here, specifically the liaisons. Why is that so important for negotiation?
It comes down to flow. and what that flow communicates. If you're stumbling over the words, if you're saying c'est plus cher, you sound uncertain.
You sound like you're making it up on the spot. Exactly. You sound like you're guessing and you're easy to dismiss. But if you've practiced and you can nail the liaison, those little sound bridges between words, it changes everything.
Give me an example.
So instead of saying plus cher que au, it becomes one smooth sound. Plus cher qu'au. C'est plus cher qu'au supermarché. Or moins cher qu'en ligne. Cheaper than online.
Cool.
If you can rattle those phrases off with that kind of fluidity, you sound authoritative. You sound like you've actually done your homework. A shopkeeper is much, much less likely to try and pull a fast one on someone who speaks with that kind of conviction.
So the fluency implies credibility. It sends a message. I know the market. Don't even try to mess with me.
That's it exactly. Fluidity equals credibility.
Okay, so we're deep in the negotiation. We've used all our new tools. But sometimes the answer is still no, or the price is just fundamentally too high. That brings us to segment 4. Managing face and refusals. How do we back out gracefully without looking like we failed? Or worse, looking like we're just broke?
This is all about what sociologists call face, preserving dignity, both yours and the seller's. You never want to create a situation where someone feels embarrassed or defeated. You want to reframe the situation so that the rejection isn't personal.
So step 1 is probably avoiding saying, I just don't have the money.
Definitely avoid saying, je suis pauvre. I am poor. It's way too dramatic. It's a conversation killer. It makes everyone feel awkward.
So what's the professional way out?
The best phrase, the most common and effective one, is c'est hors budget.
Or budget. Out of budget.
It's a fixed expression. And it's brilliant because it's completely impersonal. It's not that I am poor or that I can't afford it. It's that this item falls outside the pre-established parameters of my budget.
You're blaming the numbers, not yourself.
You're blaming the budget, which is this abstract, unchangeable third party in the negotiation. Oh, I would absolutely love to buy this wonderful lamp. My heart desires it, but alas, the budget says no.
Budget is a cruel master.
Indeed. What if you want to be a little softer, a bit more personal, but still dignified?
Go on.
You can say, je n'ai pas les moyens. I don't have the means.
The means. That sounds very proper.
It is. It refers to your financial capacity. It's a very respectable way to admit a limitation without sounding desperate. Or another good one is, je suis serré dans mon budget en ce moment. I'm tight on my budget right now.
Oh, I like that one. I'm tight on my budget. It sounds so responsible. It makes you sound like a prudent manager of your own finances.
Exactly. It implies that you could buy it if you really wanted to, but you are making a conscious, strategic choice not to because you are fiscally responsible. That is a virtue in France. Being broke is a personal failure. Being tight on your budget is a smart management strategy.
The distinction is everything. It's all about the framing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one more excuse tactic that the sources mentioned that I find absolutely fascinating. The use of the impersonal il faut.
Yes. The great cosmic shrug of the French language. Il faut.
Tell us about this. How does it work?
So il faut means it is necessary, or one must. It's completely impersonal. There's no I involved. So let's say you can't buy that used car you're looking at because your tax bill is due.
Okay.
You could say, je dois payer mes impôts, I have to pay my taxes. That's a personal obligation. But it's much more deft to say, ah, mais il faut payer les impôts, vous savez.
Ah, but one must pay taxes, you know?
Yes. It dilutes your personal responsibility and frames your financial limitation as a universal, unavoidable truth of the human condition.
It's brilliant. It aligns you with the car salesman. You're both victims of this cruel world and its taxes.
Exactly. My friend, I would love nothing more than to give you my money for this beautiful car. But alas, il faut payer le loyer. One must pay the rent. What can we do?
It's almost poetic. You're just two souls struggling against fate together.
And it works. It ends the negotiation on a note of shared commiseration. No one loses face.
I feel like we have to bring this all back to Kareem now.
Yeah.
We introduced him at the start, the smart engineer who was losing thousands of euros simply because he was too afraid to have these conversations.
Right. So let's look at his transformation because it's a perfect case study. Remember, Kareem's before state was defined by silence and fear. He bought that used car for 10,000 euros without asking a single question.
And then his colleague told him it was only worth 8,000 max.
And that 2,000 euro difference, the source material has a great name for it. It calls it the price of silence. 2,000 euros of fear. But it wasn't just about the money he lost. It was about the feeling.
The feeling of being ripped off.
A feeling of being a pigeon. That's the French word for a sucker, a mark.
A pigeon. That's such a great image. Everyone just pecking at your wallet.
He felt stupid. He felt naive. He felt like a child in a world of adults. And that feeling, that humiliation, was the turning point for him.
So what did he do?
He decided to reframe the whole thing. He stopped seeing negotiation as a conflict to be avoided and started seeing it as a game with rules and a language, just like the grammar rules we've been discussing.
So he hits the books, he studies the conditional tense, he masters the C clause, and then he finds a sofa he wants to buy.
A sofa listed at 1,000 euros. Old Karim would have just sighed, paid the 1,000 euros, and left. But new Karim has a plan.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What does he do?
He walks up to the seller, he plays the game, he uses the script. First, he validates the product.
J'aime beaucoup ce canapé, il est magnifique. I love this sofa, it's magnificent.
Step 1, build rapport.
Then, he states his limitation impersonally. Mais, c'est un peu hors budget pour moi, but it's a bit out of budget for me.
Step 2, the abstract budget defense.
Then, he proposes a logical deal. Si je le prends aujourd'hui, if I take it today, present tense, very important.
A C clause.
And then, the magic spell.
Est-ce que vous pourriez me faire un geste commercial? Could you make me a commercial gesture?
He used all the moves. It's like a combo attack in a video game.
It is. And what do you think happened? Did the seller get angry? Did he call security?
I'm guessing not.
The seller smiled. He gave a little nod because he recognized that Karim was playing the game correctly. He was speaking the language, and he lowered the price to 900 euros.
So he saved 100 euros.
He saved 100 euros, yes. But the source is very clear that the money was almost secondary. The real victory was psychological. He walked out of that furniture shop feeling like an equal, a participant, a partner in the system.
He wasn't a pigeon anymore.
He had spoken the password, and the secret door had opened for him. That's the autonomy we promised at the beginning of this whole deep dive.
That's it, right there.
And now, the story goes, Karim negotiates everything. His salary reviews, his apartment rent, his bank fees. He's no longer afraid because he understands that money in France isn't an emotion, it's just a form of communication.
That's a genuinely inspiring arc, from silence born of fear to communication and finally to, well, to power.
And it's an arc that's accessible to everyone listening to this. You don't need to have perfect, fluent French to do this. You just need to master these specific, high-leverage phrases and structures.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's put it all together. What is the challenge? What's the key takeaway for our listener who is maybe sitting here dreading a meeting with their landlord next week?
The takeaway is, do not be early Karim. Your silence is not polite. Your silence is submission.
That's powerful. Silence is submission.
I really believe that. So the challenge is to go out there, go into the shops, go into the bank, go to the market, and just try one thing.
Just one.
Just one. Use the armor. When the banker offers you that découvert, just ask one question. Quels sont les agios? When you see a beautiful coat that's too expensive, just murmur to the salesperson. C'est un budget. Just try to get one small geste commercial.
It's going to feel so awkward the first time, though, isn't it?
It will be terrifying. Your heart will be pounding in your chest. You'll be convinced they're going to laugh at you or yell at you.
But they won't.
They won't. They'll probably just say, non, désolé, or oui, bien sûr. And either way, you will have survived. You will have practiced the skill. You will have flexed the muscle.
And gotten a little bit stronger.
Exactly. The source material ends with a final, really provocative thought that I love. It just says, money doesn't wait.
Money doesn't wait.
It's true, isn't it? The economy is moving all around you every second of every day. Rents are going up. Bank fees are being quietly applied to your account. Prices are fluctuating. You can either stand there passively and watch it happen to you, or you can use your language to speak up and participate in it.
And every euro you save.
Every single euro you save by using these phrases is tangible proof that your French is working. It's not an abstract grade on a test. It's a real-world trophy.
I love that idea. A discount as a language learning trophy, that's a fantastic motivator.
It's the best metric I can think of.
Well, I am definitely going to try out C'est un certain budget next time I'm window shopping for, well, for anything, really. Maybe even a sandwich.
Oh, so maybe not a sandwich. Context is still key, but definitely try it on a sofa.
Fair enough. This has been incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for breaking down this hidden language of money for us. A true deep dive.
My pleasure. It's a crucial skill.
And to all of you listening, go out there, get your financial armor on, and go claim your commercial gesture. We'll see you next time.